Let's get ourselves into it. Get my instrument ready here. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Living Well Community, your home for interactive and on-demand wellness programming, created and curated for you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. I'm John Roberts, and friends, this here is Mind the Moment in everyday life. Now, each week we take viewer questions and we ask ourselves, how can we use mindfulness to get the most out of every moment of our lives? I am joined, as I always am, by a woman whose consciousness will one day be bottled and sold for its effervescent properties by our future robot overlords. It's Jessica Morey. Good afternoon, Jessica. How are you doing today?
John, I'm doing well. Doing well.
Could you be doing any better?
Probably, but that's okay.
What do you like percentage wise, or out of 10?
Out of 10, I'm probably like 7.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So we can get you to 8 by the end of the show.
Yeah, I bet it will actually. How are you doing today, John?
Always at 11. I started at 11. I go up from there. Now, folks, regular viewers know how fond I am of kicking us off by providing you, our viewers, with exclusive access to the inner workings of Jessica Morey's mind in a segment I like to call Icebreakers. And so, Jess, can you recall for me the first time you ever flew in an airplane? Or, as I have been wont to refer to it, the first time you ever took a plane ride? Do we say plane ride? We don't, right? It's like one of those things you just don't say. Like, let's go on a plane ride.
It doesn't seem too awkward though to me.
No, okay, yeah.
I must have been a child, maybe 5 or 6 or 7, something like that. Flew to Oregon, where my father's family is. And yeah, I think this was probably it. We went out for like a family reunion in Oregon. Had a great grandfather who lived to 101. And there was this big family reunion on a farm where my grandmother grew up on that farm, the Finn family farm. Yeah. Yeah. Because before that, we would always drive. My mom would do epic drives. Like we drove to Florida to Disneyland, and just back in the day when you didn't have child seats or you didn't have to wear seatbelts.
Right, optional. Seatbelts optional.
Yeah.
You just
put down the back of the car and we'd lie out and play games.
You had enough kids in there, they just bounce off each other. They wouldn't have to. Did you get any words of advice from this centenarian gentleman?
Yeah, centenarian.
Centenarian?
Yeah, he would say, you kids don't pronounce the words right. When there's a T at the end of the word, I say the T at the end of the word.
No. So. Wow, that's you must have the French would not have enjoyed that, I don't think. So I did not step onto a plane. This is interesting until I was 19. You said you were 5 or 6?
Yeah.
I was already a man of sorts. I wasn't like a kid who got excited about the prospect of flying. I think I wanted to sort of wait a few years to see if this commercial aviation thing was going to catch on. So far, so good. So my first experience was at the Dubuque, Iowa Regional Airport, which is about kind of like a Greyhound station in terms of amenities. Had 3 possible destinations: Chicago, Orlando, or Las Vegas, which tells you about everything you need to know about Dubuque, Iowa. And flying right was weird back then because you couldn't smoke on the airplanes, but
you couldn't. You could smoke when I used to.
In the night, well, you did it younger than I did.
Oh.
By the time you hit 98, they still had the ashtrays, and there may have still been cigarette butts in them, but you weren't supposed to use them.
Maybe it was the internet, because I flew to India for when I was 18, yeah, and people were smoking the whole time.
You could also smoke in the airport up until I think recently. You could, up until a certain point, you could bring as many liquids as you wanted on the airplane. You could bring a gallon of milk with you if you wanted. And they showed movies. They showed movies on little screens that fell from the ceiling. And everyone, just you said one option. So even if you weren't watching the movie, you were still watching the movie. Just what's the worst film you've ever seen on an airplane?
Oh, great goodness. I don't know. That's not one that comes to mind.
Yeah, I tell you the worst film I've ever seen on an airplane.
Yeah.
Well, Jesse, it's a Jack Frost with Michael Keaton, in which he plays a reincarnated snowman who I think has to learn the true meaning of Christmas or something. Folks, we'd love to have you be a part of the conversation today as well. Open up the chat. Let us know. Do you think Michael Keaton regrets Jack Frost? What's the worst film you've ever seen on an airplane? Where did you take your first plane ride to? And of course, any other questions you might have for us at any point during today's program. Jess, you alluded to this before. This is part 2 where we usually have viewer questions, but today I offer you a twist, albeit one that we've been previewing here for a few minutes now, which is not only the viewer question is coming from me, but it is directly responsive to the fact that I'm getting onto a plane later this month. I'm feeling a little bit nervous about it. I wasn't kidding when I said I was a late adopter to the jet-setting lifestyle. Because of that, I've never been particularly comfortable with flying. And so, Jess, I'm hoping you might help me think through how to get through this experience without flipping my wig as I on this coast-to-coast journey. Maybe we can think about this in terms of how I could bring mindfulness to bear on the part of the experience that happens before takeoff, the part that happens during takeoff as one is flying, and maybe even the aftermath, if that feels relevant to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, John, I've been thinking about the question, and I might seem like all the things you say in my intro, but I actually get at times anxious about flying. And in fact, and I've actually flown quite a bit. Like I said, I did a lot of international study and practice, meditation practice. And then I used to have a job where we would travel all the time, a lot, like actually to different international conferences. So, but at some point I developed like an anxiety of flying. So I've actually had to practice with this. Well, you must have flown right around 9/11. Was it right after 9/11? Right before? Right before?
First time I flew was about 98, 99 or something. So okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably did not fly again until after that. So.
Yeah. Because it was something about that like really tripped me out. So I've been practicing this for a while. And the thing that I find really challenging about flying is that one of the best ways that I settle myself with practice in any given moment when I'm feeling anxious in some way is I bring my attention down to like my feet on the ground. It's like the sense of grounding, feel my feet on the ground. Sometimes just like wiggling my toes, feeling my feet, feeling the sense of gravity, like my butt on the chair. That can kind of just give me a little bit of sense, bring my attention out of the thought process and into the lower part of my body. So that's like my go-to when I feel anxious when I'm on the earth. But when I'm in a plane.
Yes, I already see the problem here.
Exactly. So I can't do that, like kind of go to. Like when I do that, I start to kind of become aware of like flying in a tube through space. So what I've actually had to do mostly is either like 2 things: follow my breath, just take long, slow inhales and exhales. So it's a little bit different than we usually teach mindfulness, which is just like let your breath be how it is. In this, you're actually just letting your attention feel like you're extending the exhale in particular, the inhale. Okay. And then I do a lot of loving kindness practice. Mm-hmm. So I wish myself well. I wish the pilots well. I wish all the people on the plane well. And that's my go-to settling practice. Even if so I'll do metta and I'll guide a metta practice, a loving kindness practice for us today so people can get a sense of it. That usually settles me. And even if it doesn't, I'll just repeat, like, may I be happy, may I be happy, maybe be safe, maybe be safe, maybe be safe, like over and over and over, like a little mantra. So it keeps out any negative thinking. And that tends to help me.
I was going to say, that's one of those things that you probably shouldn't be doing out loud in the plane because then people will get very nervous.
But, yeah. So that's been the most helpful practice for me, is doing a little kindness practice.
So it's interesting. So what are your thoughts about, if I may, just what are your thoughts about bringing mindfulness to the experience of the airport part of it? Because I mean, the pre-flight airport part actually puts me into a bit of a bind, right? Because on the one hand, I don't want to be sliding in at the last minute to the airport, because then it's like I'm going to be slicked with cold sweat and I'm going to be the guy in the security line that definitely looks like he should be taken in the back to be searched. But on the other hand, if I get there too early, I tend to trick myself into thinking it's going to calm me down if I have a few drinks at the bar. And then I end up staring out the windows during the inevitable delays, just trying to catch sight of like any loose screws like dropping off of the wings of the planes being ready for takeoff.
Oh.
Is there, do you, can you give me an
Well, you
airport
could,
practice? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, well, one thing is an airport is also a great place to do loving kindness practice because there's so many people, like random people to just like,
There's so many terrible people. Is that weird?
no, I mean, it's like strangers. Strangers can be like a great way to practice loving kindness. So it's another place you could just be like, everyone you're walking by, maybe well, so you could do that kind of practice. I don't have that experience. I love just hanging out in the airport, like, just like scrolling, like looking through magazines, like bookstores, kind of checking out what random food there is. I don't know. I get really entertained by
You're telling us to get over it?
yes. Find something to pay attention to. Read a book. Read like People magazine. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that's a good point, actually, because I do feel like I'm certainly a type of person. I'm type A in very few parts of my life, except in as much as it's like if I got some time to spare, I'm like I'm just gonna like, well, how can I fill this with some like how can I do some work in this time?
Yeah.
And maybe what you're pointing to is that maybe I should just use it as an experience of just reading the trashiest stuff I can find.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how often do you read a magazine in your life?
Well, it's I mean I read magazines, but they're fairly highbrow.
Like the
So
New Yorker? Are
as
you
long
like,
as it feels like work, and I will do it. Yeah. So
yeah, just like it's sort of like a liminal space where you can just like, I don't know, like just waste your time in semi-pleasant ways.
a liminal space where it's not that you can be who you are, but you can be who you aren't, perhaps.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
what way I've actually tried to improve my sort of like airport experience is by either like packing really light or checking a bag, which it does get less expensive or more expensive, I should say, every year. But that allows me to move around the airport in a more like unencumbered way where I'm not thinking about all this keeping track of stuff. And that allows me to just, free up maybe some of those mental resources to focus on just keeping myself, grounded before I become very literally ungrounded a few moments later. But
Yeah. I think the other thing that I'm just like thinking fondly about flights, airport time and flights right now is because like we both have children and kids really kind of mess up the whole airport time. I mean, so now right now thinking about going on a business trip, which I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't flown by myself in a long time. Uh, just sounds so relaxing to just like wander the hallways of an airport by myself or
yeah,
sitting
is
on
this
a plane without a kid. Oh my gosh.
some of the situations where they're like, oh, you can buy Wi-Fi for the airplane. You're like, no, thank you. Then people can find me. I'm just gonna watch Jack Frost on the little screen here.
Yes, totally. Like, oh God, and how different that is from, I mean, a baby and then a toddler on a plane. It's so much. Yeah.
Have you flown with your son?
Mhm. Yeah.
How does he do? Does he do it right over?
Yeah. I mean, it changes so rapidly because now he will watch technology. So
Mm,
basically, but so his new show is Chicky Chicky Bon Bon.
that does not sound like a real thing.
Look it up.
You know what that is? That's a good segue, I think.
Into a
Well, yeah, so
mentor.
I'm hoping. Okay, you mentioned this earlier. Yeah. Can you want to do a loving kindness practice? But here's how I'm going to use this, and this is true. I want you to give me something that I'm going to take the recording of this. I'm going to have it on the plane with me. I'm going to listen to this as I'm saying this. So you can feel free to address me personally if you like.
Okay.
If we or probably should keep it more.
Okay, I'll keep it together then.
You know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll have you make one for everyone who watches this, so that
Okay, great.
you
Not
can
just John.
start. You can start with me.
So it's for everyone else. Elaine, Aaron, Hillary, here we go. Bob. Okay, for the next time you fly. So I'm going to invite you to get as comfortable as you can in your tiny little chair. And then I'm going to imagine that you're pretty upright. Your seat is forward, your trays are down. You can still put your hands in your lap and take a few deeper breaths. You can feel free to keep your eyes open if that helps you to feel more comfortable. You can close your eyes. And you can just let your attention scan through your body. And on your exhale, so really long, slow, complete exhale, you might even quietly sigh out on your exhale. Just invite your body to soften a little bit. It really is an invitation. You don't have to let go of anything you don't want to let go of. But that invitation is here with each long, slow exhale. Maybe the shoulders can drop. Maybe the jaw and throat can soften. See if you can soften the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. And then just knowing at this point, you're on the ride. Nothing to do, nothing to control. And so we'll come into this kindness practice and just beginning with safety, most fundamental kindness. May I be safe. May I be safe. May I be safe. And becoming aware of all the people around you, this whole plane full of beings, travelers, attendants, pilots. May we be safe. May each of us be safe. We all have loved ones. We all have important people in our lives. May we all be safe. So many people wishing us well. May we be safe. And you can get a sense if you connect with that feeling of safety and that wish, just letting yourself sort of take that in. The wish of safety, the feeling of safety. This warm, kind wish. May we be safe. And not only that, but may we be happy. May I be happy. May we all be happy. May the pilots be happy. May the attendants be happy. May we all be happy, free from any physical or mental suffering. If there's anyone else on the plane who feels anxiety, may you also be free of that anxiety. May you be happy. May we all enjoy the flight as much as possible. May we be happy. May we be happy here and now on the plane ride. May we be happy in whatever our destination is. So many people on this plane, so many people wishing all these beings to be happy. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be healthy of body. And feel ease in our bodies. May I feel healthy and at ease. May all the beings on this plane be at ease. May we be deeply well. And maybe even joyful on this plane ride and beyond. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be happy. And so you can imagine that plane ride, or just getting a sense, like maybe you just get a sense that like this planet is like a giant plane ride through space. We're all sharing. We're all in it together. May we be safe. May we be healthy. May we be happy. May we experience joy and ease on this flight of life. So for the last minute or two, just choosing a word or phrase, one word, one phrase, like safe, safe, safe. May we be safe. Or happy, happy. Ease. May we experience ease. All beings. Just repeating that word or phrase in your mind, connecting with the intention. A simple, kind intention. Independent of outcomes, just connecting with the wish. The wish for us to be safe and healthy and happy. And then just to finish, just using your imagination, just imagine that this all did come true. Like this, either you can imagine being on the flight and all the people actually are happy. Everyone is safe, free from whatever suffering, feeling ease. Or if there's another kind of metaphorical flight you want to imagine of beings that you're sharing a journey with. See if you can just imagine this actually comes to be and let yourself take joy. Take joy in the safety and the ease and the happiness. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and orient back to our space together.
Thank you, Jess.
Thank you, John.
Before we continue, folks, if you have any questions for us that you'd like us to address in future episodes, please do email us at askmtm@point32health.org. And if you'd like to watch this session again, perhaps before your next plane ride, do check out the recording, which will be on our YouTube page and our podcast feed soon. All the links you'll need to access those various things, other things we're talking about in today's episode, will be in the show notes or the chat, depending on whether or not you're here with us right now or watching this as a recording. Oh, so it sounds like somebody is flying today. And so this is going to be the perfect thing for them. I hope. I hope. Well, we'll see. We'll see some proof of concept. Jess, I really loved this idea of it was something like we're all on a plane ride on this planet through space. And it makes me think as well, like these lives that we're living, they're like plane rides through existence. And it made me want to ask, is everything, mindfully speaking, is everything we do just a metaphor for living, for being? Is that possible?
I mean, probably, but also it's like not a metaphor because it is what is happening.
I'm just like, it's interesting because because we could be talking about this it there's a secret to these episodes what we're doing here, which I almost don't want to give it away, but it's like this this meditation is as relevant as you're standing in line at the grocery store, right? As it is if you're on an airplane, as it is if you're playing with your child or cooking dinner or something. It's all the piece. It's all one plane ride.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about it, like, and just for the record, it feels like most of mindfulness meditation is remembering. It's just remembering to do it. Because what a better way, like, what is your mind usually thinking about when you're walking through the airport? Is it useful? Is it like bringing you happiness and well-being? Why not just like repeat over and over in your head? May I be happy. May you be happy. May we be happy. May I be happy. May you be happy. Like, why not? Why not do that instead of like whatever way we use our minds?
And there's no shortage of people to well wish in the airports.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's very few times when one is in an airport where it feels like it's been abandoned, right? It's like there's always plenty of people who wish well. Now, you mentioned that at the beginning of the meditation, you said something about, just remembering that we don't have sort of control over the situation. And it reminds me of one of my favorite lines from Hunter S. Thompson, which is, you buy the ticket, you take the ride. But I can imagine there are people who think it's the lack of control that is actually the source of the most anxiety. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on that, especially in a situation where you are so substantially out of, you're not in control of the plane.
Yeah, I've like really thought a lot about this because of that period. There was a particular period, and I was traveling like at least once a month, often twice, 2 trips on a plane each month. And I was feeling anxiety each time, which was like, okay, we got to figure this out. And there's like these statistics that you're way more likely to die in a car than on a plane. But what it is that we feel like we don't have control. It's the sense of control that gives us like a false sense of safety when we're driving versus in a plane. And so it's a little edgy to think about that, but there was a way when I was just like, that's the truth. I literally, like, this is it. I don't have control. Like, it's over. So sometimes when we connect in with that, it can actually help me to settle that, like, it's up to the pilot and whoever fixed the plane before I got on it at this point. And can I just like, sometimes that helps me to relax a little bit. So it might not help all the time or everyone, but you can try that reflection.
Yeah, I suppose what I'm hearing you say is that most of the time we're walking around pretending that we have any control. And when you're in an airplane, there's really no way to pretend that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And one thing I have done that has been, well, I mean, there's a sense in which I'm like that the person who only prays to God when they're waiting to be rescued from a burning building, where I'm like, after the plane lands, I'm like, well, I can stop being mindful now, right? But so I have been thinking about like how to keep that going. And one thing I've been imagining myself doing after this flight is just take a moment to imagine the mind-boggling immensity of the achievement of flight, which for most of human history was, restricted to winged creatures superheroes, gods, and thinking about all the people whose efforts had to come together to make it
Yeah.
happen, which is, I think, a real recipe for just submerging oneself in that state of awe of like, wow,
Yeah.
well, we're all in it together, and if we work together, we can fly.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. I love that.
Finally, Jess, what is the theme song for your mindfulness practice this week?
John, actually, one thing I do want to mention, I actually won't be here next Tuesday.
That is correct, Jess. Yes. So that
Yeah,
is that your plug? Is like
that is my plug. I won't be here. I'm going to be on a meditation retreat next
Hmm.
week for the week. So someone else will be here with John. John will be
Yes,
here.
rest assured, I will still be here. In fact, I'll just preview it right now. We'll be here with my good friend Kel Juilliard, who is another mindfulness teacher of great repute, who will be talking to us about I think we're going to be talking about the aging process. Actually, we need to work that out. But Kel's a wonderful teacher. If you haven't had a chance to sit with Kel at any point, he is fabulous, and that will be it. A great
Wow.
session. Although we will miss you.
Amazing.
But
Amazing. I'm sorry to miss that one. So I'll be on retreat, but then I'll see you the week after that. And then my song this week is Where's the Love by Trevor Hall.
very good. Yeah. So I think I'll go with On a Clear Day You Can See Forever, the version performed by the Peddlers. And remember to check out our ever-growing Mind the Moment in Everyday Life dance party playlist on Spotify. Link is in the chat or the show notes. And some of us will be back next week, as every week at this time. This program, like all of our Living Well community programs, are free and open to all. So you can bring your community while you build your community. So tell others if you are enjoying what we're doing here. Jess, thank you as always for your time.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has safe flights, especially you, John, and Amatis, and anyone else who's flying the next couple weeks. And yeah, send us your questions. It's really fun to get them.
We know you have many choices for a mindfulness session, so we're very happy that you chose this one.